presented by Zaxby's Chicken on the Bypass in Danville. Good evening, folks. Welcome to week number 4 of the Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show here on the Hometown Radio Network on WHIR 103.9 FM and 99.5 FM WHBN. The first time this season that we've been in studio. Danville is on a bye week this week, and because I do all the Danville football play-by-play, because I don't have a game to be at, I'm in studio tonight. So we'd love to hear from you at HTR Joe on Twitter to give me your thoughts about tonight's games. Got a lot to talk about today at HTR Joe on Twitter. As always, the Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show is brought to you by Zaxby's Chicken on the Bypass in Danville, and we appreciate Radio Rick stopping by there earlier today and picking up our Zaxby's meals. But I'm going to be honest, I haven't had time to eat mine yet, so I'm going to eat it for dinner tonight. And the reason is, so I've been running around. This has been a hectic day for me because the preschool that my son and daughter both go to were having a fundraiser like a couple of weeks ago where they wanted us to help sell mums for a fundraiser type thing. So we did, and my wife went above and beyond the call of duty by selling 59 mums. And today was delivery day. So I am so glad to be here in studio to get away from the mums. I've seen red mums and lavender mums and bronze mums and white mums and yellow mums. So I'm done with the mums. I didn't even have enough time to eat my lunch today because the customer service, we were delivering mums to, I think, everybody in Danville. Bought mums for my wife. I don't know, she couldn't stop. If it was working on commission, we would be retired living in the Key West right now. But that's not how it worked because it was a fundraiser. So that's what I was doing today. And again, I'm glad to just get away from the mums for the time being and be here in the studio with you tonight live from the Hometown Radio Network studios. There are 4 games that we're keeping an eye on this week. We have 2 teams that are off this week. So first off, let's start off with the teams that have byes. Danville is on a bye. Garrard County is on a bye. So the Admirals, who have lost 3 games in a row, will have this week off. Hopefully can regroup a little bit. They'll be at Bullitt East next Friday. Garrard County has the week off tonight as well. So no Danville game, no Garrard game. North Hardin travels to Boyle County, so the Rebels are in action tonight. That's going to be a 7:30 kickoff, same time as usual. 7 o'clock pregame. We'll start with the Big Daddy, Steve Bertram and Radio Rick on WRNZ as the Big 6A North Hardin Trojans will travel into Boyle County. The game I'm going to start focusing on in our first segment of the show is going to be the Christian Academy of Louisville game at Mercer County. The reason being, that is a district game. So Mercer County becomes our first area team to hop into district play. They need that extra week because they are in a 5-team district there, Mercer County is. So they'll start district play tonight. Christian Academy of Louisville is at Mercer County, 7:30 kickoff on WHBN. Taylor County is at Casey County. What about those Casey County Rebels? 4 in a row they've won. They led Rockcastle County in the second half. So a couple of plays here, a couple of plays there. You could be looking at a 5-0 Casey County team. Still 4-1, not shabby. They've won 4 straight. Chance to make it 5 straight tonight against Taylor County. That's a 7:30 kickoff there in Liberty. And Lincoln County is at Southwestern tonight. Patriots picked up their first win of the season last week against East Chessman. They'll travel down to an unbeaten Southwestern team tonight. Southwestern 5-0. That's a 7:30 kickoff for that game as well. So that's the rundown of the show tonight. We're going to start off talking Christian Academy of Louisville at Mercer County. We're going to have the high school fantasy football draft week number 4. We've got Packett's picks on here as well. We got a lot to accomplish. So let's go ahead, hop in this first commercial break. We'll come back. We'll talk Christian Academy of Louisville at Mercer County. First district game of the year for any of our area teams. And it's tonight at Alvis Johnson Field, and that's coming up next on the Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show live from the Hometown Radio Network studios, right here on 103.9 FM WHIR, 99.5 FM WHBN, and hometownlive.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accots, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Great! See, we're practically sitting on the field. If you could sit here.
Your food and drinks will be right over.
Oh, yes! For the same price as way up here. Great seats. Right up here with a blimp. Why wouldn't you? It's the same with auto insurance. With discounts up to 40%, it's possible to get the personal service of a State Farm agent for the same or less than those other guys.
See your State Farm agent in Harrisburg, David Hopewell, and Randy Couch. In Danville, see Bob Miller.
Here at Zaxby's, we have perfectly paired all of our sauces to go with our hand-breaded chicken fingers. Seriously, it's science. Each flavor profile is in perfect harmony with each other. The crisp, zesty notes of honey mustard. The full, rounded, bold flavor of buffalo garlic blaze. The elegant, spicy smoke of Tug Torch. All the perfect pair to our famous chicken fingers. Test them out for yourself and grab some extra napkins. Select one from our 12 sauce options. There's endless sauce abilities, only at Zaxby's.
With a little love and some tenderness, we'll walk upon the water.
Now, the Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show, live from the Hometown Radio Network studios at HTR Joe on Twitter. If you want to be a part of the show tonight, we'd love to have you on and chit-chat about this Christian Academy of Louisville and Mercer County game, which is at Alvis Johnson Field tonight and should be a great night of weather. I saw some people on social media were really excited about just, the weather that we're going to have tonight. 54 is the low, so a football feeling type of night for this very important district game between Mercer County and Christian Academy of Louisville. And Mercer County, again, becomes our first area team to start district play. It's a week earlier than pretty much everybody else, 2 weeks earlier than some teams, because they need that extra week. They're in a 5-team district. There's Mercer County, there's Cal, there's DeSales, there's Henry County, and there's Western Hills that all make up that Class 3A District 4. So let's talk about this Cal opponent Mercer County has tonight. Cal is led by Hunter Cantwell, who took over at Christian Academy of Louisville as their head coach in 2019, his 4th year as the Cal head coach. In high school, Cantwell played for Paducah Tillman. He actually set the playoff record in the Class 3A state title game when he threw for 409 yards during his playing days there at Paducah Tillman. Went to Louisville, played collegiately at the University of Louisville, then played in the NFL for the Panthers and Ravens. Now, he briefly made the NFL, the actual NFL Panthers roster, when Jake Delhomme, who was the Panthers quarterback at that time, got injured, so they called him up from the practice squad. But for the most part, he was a practice squad member of the Ravens and of the Panthers. He actually had one more chance to make it back to the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars did offer Hunter Cantwell a contract offer. He decided to turn that down and go into coaching and started off his coaching career at Campbellsville University. From there was named the Carroll County head coach in 2017. He was there in 2017 and 2018. And then from there in 2019 went to Christian Academy of Louisville, where he is right now. This has really been kind of a bizarre series, Christian Academy of Louisville and Mercer County. I remember when they first brought in Mercer County into this weird district that had 2 Louisville teams in it, because Mercer County's, really nowhere near Louisville in proximity. But it's been a kind of a bizarre series because they've played twice every single year since they've been in the same district because of that old playoff format where it was the intra-district the first 2 rounds. In 2019 and 2020, Mercer County won the regular season game really close, then got beat both those seasons in the playoffs by 2 or more touchdowns. So the Titans win the regular season game in 19, they win the regular season game in 20, and they get blown out in the playoffs in 19 and 20 by Cal after beating them in the regular season. However, last year, though, Cal won both matchups by running clocks. And so now you look up, and though they were 2-2 head-to-head with Cal in their first 4 games playing each other, it's now Cal that's won 3 in a row over Mercer County, and they have drilled Mercer County in those 3 games. They've outscored them 110-14 in the last 3 games they played head-to-head that Cal has won all 3 of those. And when you talk about the number of points that they've scored, that is a great place to start with this year's Christian Academy of Louisville team as well. This is the highest scoring team in Class 3A. They are the 3rd highest scoring team in the entire state of Kentucky, regardless of class, at 47.2 points per game. They are outscoring teams by about a 47-6 point margin so far. So every time they take the field, the average win for them is a 47-6 score. Their first 3 games of the year, they outscored their opponents 135-0. That's how good the offense is. You hear the 0, too, right? The defense is very good as well. We'll get to that in a second, but we're starting off with the offense because when you're a top 3 offense in the entire state of Kentucky, regardless of class, that's where we're going to start the conversation. Their quarterback's a kid named Cole Hodge. Now, Cole is just a sophomore. He started as a freshman for them last year, and he threw 28 touchdowns as a freshman. He already has 15 touchdowns through 5 games this year. So if you look at what Cal is doing and what it certainly appears as if they're capable of doing, if he continues this trend, if Cal were to continue to win throughout the playoffs, if they make the state championship game, you're looking at a guy who's on pace to throw 45 touchdowns this year. Because there's 15 games, if you play every one of them, make it to the state championship, he's averaging 3 touchdowns a game. As a freshman last year, Mercer County had a really tough time handling Cole Hodge. In the 2 games they played combined, 27 for 34. That's about an 80% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 16 rushes for 138 yards, and 2 more touchdowns on top of that. So he returns this year. He's their probably biggest name that returns with how he played last year as a freshman. He's got a great quarterback, great coach, I should say, in Hunter Cantwell, who obviously played collegiately and professionally as a quarterback. But they lost their top 2 receivers to graduation. So the receiving core was kind of depleted coming into this season. But no worry, because their running back, Gavin Copenhaver, is back as well. He led them in rushing. He's back, and despite their top 2 receivers being brand new this year, the team has not missed a beat offensively. In fact, they're better than they've been over the past several seasons. So the question now is, how will Mercer County handle this team that is an extremely balanced team? This Cal team, the offense at least, and the way they run it, the number of runs they call, the number of pass plays they call, is going to look a lot like LCA did. And they have a good quarterback in Cole Hodge, just like LCA does in Cutter Boley. They both have 2 very good running backs. LCA had Javante Emerson. Cal's got Gavin Copenhaver. Unfortunately for Mercer County, when you look at the game they played, the 2nd game of the year against LCA, they gave up nearly 500 yards of total offense, and Cutter Boley threw for 418 and 3 scores by himself. So there's going to have to be some sort of defensive lockdown. They'll have to do something to stop Cal's offense, which, quite frankly, no team has done yet through the first 5 games of this season. That's why they're a top 3 scoring team in the class. It's hard to say, though, what's been better for this Cal team, because we talked about the offense just now. The defense is also extremely talented. They have 3 consecutive shutouts to begin the season. They gave up a grand total of 181 total yards in all 3 games combined. 181 yards in the first 3 games combined. They played North Bullitt and Bullitt Central in back-to-back games. They gave up in those 2 games a total of 13 yards combined. So they gave up an average of 6.5 yards a game in the first 2 games of the year versus North Bullitt and Bullitt Central. They're also extremely talented when it comes to taking the ball away. They forced 14 turnovers in 5 games, but I was looking at their stats, and I think the thing that impresses me the most out of all the defensive stats that you look at for this Cal team is they have 55 tackles for loss. 55 tackles for loss in 5 games. That is insane. That's an average of 11 a game. So do the math. So I looked at Mercer County's offense. Offensively this year, the Titans have ran 242 plays total this year. Right? So the first 5 games of the year, they've ran 242 total plays. 96 pass attempts, 146 rushing attempts. You do the math, it adds up to 242 plays. That's an average of about 48 plays a game they run. So 242 divided by 5, that gives you the average 48 plays a game they run. If Cal hits that average of what they've had this year of 11 tackles for loss a game, that means that 11 out of Mercer County's 48 plays would be tackled behind the line of scrimmage. That's nearly a quarter of every single offensive play. 1 out of every 4 plays that the Titans would run tonight, if the math works out that way, would go for negative yardage. It's almost hard to wrap my head around that number because it's unbelievable to think about how well this Cal team is able to get in the backfield. And that's what makes it so difficult, right, is when a 1st and 10 ends up becoming a 2nd and 12.
On FM 10.
Thank you, Sean Hennedy, or a 2nd and 15 or whatever it may be, then you have to ask yourself, while the next plays may not go for loss of yardage, what are the odds that you can get 15 yards in 3 plays on Cal to even get a first down to begin with to keep the chains moving? So that right there shows how extremely important it is for Mercer County to stay ahead of the chains, get 3 or 4 yards of play, keep the chains moving. Otherwise, it could be a very, very long night for Mercer County. It is super important for them to get positive yardage on, it's important every game, right? But especially with a team that can get in the backfield and tackle you for a loss. Here's another thing to look at. Mercer County's offense runs pretty much exclusively through Thaddeus Mays. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's accounted for 75% of all of Mercer County's total yardage this year. The most that Cal has given up to a quarterback on the ground was last week against Owensboro Catholic. It's only 66 yards rushing. Thaddeus is averaging 100 yards a game. Mays gives a little bit more of a dynamic because there's going to be designed runs for him where they just want him to run. But statistically speaking, this is a Cal team that doesn't give up many rushing yards, particularly the quarterbacks. So on the offensive side for Mercer County, I'm telling you, it is super important, especially against a team that can get in the backfield as good as Cal can, to stay ahead of the chains, positive yardage, 3 or 4 yards, keep the chains moving. Don't get behind the chains because when you do, it's a lot of trouble against this Cal team. Now, the RPI ratings did come out. The first RPI ratings came out earlier this week. And I want to quickly talk about this for Mercer County because right now, Mercer County and actually Danville as well are both ranked 24th in RPI in their respective class. So Mercer County in RPI is 24th in Class 3A. That's obviously, it's not very good. It's not where they want to be, but none of that really matters right now because there's still 5 games left in the season. If you finish top 2 in the district, then we know that you get at least 1 home playoff game. So you got to find a way to either beat Cal, DeSales, or Henry County. Now, in the past, it was always Cal and DeSales games that were the hardest to win. However, DeSales looks atrocious this year. They're 0-4. They've been outscored 179-34 this year. So maybe you chalk that one up as a win for Mercer County. Again, we'll see when they actually play. But just looking at the numbers, it certainly looks like Mercer County would be favored to win that game. More than likely, you chalk up the win over Western Hills. You got to play it. But again, looking at the numbers, let's just count that one as a win for the sake of this argument. Then you've got the 3 seed. So you're in the playoffs. We know at that point you'd have the 3 seed. Then you've either got to win tonight or win in 3 weeks when you play Henry County. Now, Henry County is much better this year. They're 4-0. They haven't beaten great teams this year, but they've done what they need to do to win. So if you can either take the game tonight from Cal or if you can beat Henry County, then you're feeling probably pretty good about getting the 2 seed and getting a home playoff game. From there, you've got 1 game left against a non-district opponent. That's West Jessamine. Now, that's great for Mercer County because West Jessamine's a 5A school, and you get those extra quote-unquote bonus points for beating larger class schools. So basically, Mercer County fans, if you're listening, you need to be rooting for Mercer County, number 1, but rooting for West Jessamine to win as many games as possible. Because if they do, and then Mercer can beat them the final week of the regular season, plus finish in the top 2 in their district, that's going to give Mercer County a massive RPI boost. You're going to see them, maybe it'd be hard to really calculate where they would be, maybe in the top 10 at that point in RPI when the season ends. So, this is going to be a tough game, and I think everybody looking at this game from the outside looking in sees Cal as not just potentially the winner of this district, but maybe a team that could play for a state championship at the end of the season, the first weekend in December. So we'll see what happens tonight. But if you want the number 1 seed, then you got to win every one of them. But if you want the number 2 seed, you can take a loss to one of those teams, but you got to sweep the rest of them. Henry County, DeSales, and then Western Hills. You got to win the other 3. You're 3-1 at that point, and more than likely you have yourself a great chance to be the number 2 seed, get a home playoff game, the RPI gets the boost, and then at that point you got momentum, you got the big Class 5A school in West Jessamine later on in the season, you beat them, the RPI boost again. So we'll see how Mercer County stacks up tonight against this very talented Christian Academy of Louisville team. At HTR Joe on Twitter, we'd love to have you part of the show tonight on the Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show. We'll step aside, we'll come back, and we have got week number 4 of the Danville Family Dentistry High School Fantasy Football Draft coming up right after this on the Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908. Don't wait. Call now. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
Here at Zaxby's, we have perfectly paired all of our sauces to go with our hand-breaded chicken fingers. Seriously, it's science. Each flavor profile is in perfect harmony with each other. The crisp, zesty notes of honey mustard. The full, rounded, bold flavor of buffalo garlic blaze. The elegant, spicy smoke of Tug Torch. All the perfect pair to our famous chicken fingers. Test them out for yourself and grab some extra napkins. Select one from our 12 sauce options. There's endless sauce abilities, only at Zaxby's.
Do you need a loan to start that new home remodeling project? Maybe you are buying a new home or refinancing your existing home. Whatever type of loan you need, Farmers National Bank is here to help you. Getting started is easy. Stop by a Farmers National Bank office in Danville, Bergen, Harrodsburg, Junction City, Lancaster, Liberty, Middleburg, Perryville, and Stanford, and talk to a member of our lending staff. Farmers National Bank, your lifetime bank. Some restrictions may apply. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Need a rapid test for COVID-19, strep, or flu? Come to Real Health Primary Care in Danville. Walk-ins are welcome. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 in the Southland Plaza, 975 Houstonville Road. Same-day appointments. Call 209-2331. 209-2331.
Good evening. Welcome to week number 4 of the Danville Family Dentistry High School Fantasy Football Draft. And we're happy to have back in studio the same old Radio Rick's to my right. Rick, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Good evening, all.
Good evening, doll. Matt, Team Center Communications. Brand new team with a smile on his face like a bushel bucket full of possum heads. What's up with Team Center Communications?
Hi.
Hey, Team Harrisburg.
How much does he change jobs? Man.
And we'll say this, the first time ever it's happened mid-season. We've had it in the off-season where somebody comes.
Yeah, I mean, be respectful.
Be respectful of the draft, and Matt didn't do that.
Correct.
You left the Norton Center high and dry. How could you do that right in the middle of a season?
Money. Team Harrodsburg Mercer County Tourist Commission, what's up?
Hey, not much. How's it going, Joe?
I'm doing good. Mr. Packett's back from vacation. He's rested up. He went to Gatlinburg last week. How's Mr. Packett doing?
Just fine.
Good, good. And I'm here as well. And let's go back to last week, which we have not officially revealed the scores from last week yet. So this is a surprise to everybody except for me. As I was working on the scores earlier this week, I noticed there was one team that still had not put stats in. And, eventually we've got to just go with what we have. And so we're going to go back and revisit and circle back around when that team puts their stats back up. But as of right now, it doesn't look like that's going to affect any of the matchups from last week. Right now, as it stands, this is week 3, okay? So usually I post these on social media beforehand so people know, but you all have no idea because the stats aren't officially official.
No idea.
No idea. So here we have it. Team Norton Center took on Team Radio Rick last week. We do have the official numbers from Rick because Rick only drafted one Mercer County player, and I know for a fact, texting with an assistant coach, this guy did not play last week.
Oh, great.
So Rick got a 0 out of one of his players. We'll touch on that in just a second. Rick did have Avery Bodner, who had a massive game for Boyle County last week, 28 points. He had Sage Dawson, pretty big game for Boyle County, 23.6 points. Gunnar Floyd had a big-time game for Casey County, 21.4 points. But not only did Rick get nothing from Denham Griffith, who did not play for Mercer County, he also got nothing from Nate Good, and he got nothing from DeMonte Trumbo. He had 3 zeros. And if he just gets a little bit from any of those players, he's in a very good position to win, but still not a bad score for Rick. 84 points, right on the nose.
Solid.
Essentially from 3 players missing from his lineup, which is not bad at all. But is it good enough to beat Team last week, Team Norton Center? He was still Team Norton Center last week, so we have to call him Team Norton Center in last week's matchup.
Should his record start over? Actually, I don't.
Yeah, he starts all with 0.
Forfeit all of his wins and stats and all that.
Yeah, I mean.
How crazy would it be if I beat Derek in the amount of wins with 2 different teams? Restart middle of the year.
You have a chance. Have a chance to do that if we were to do that. Let's look at your points from last week. Team Norton Center again last week. Maury Brown, massive game for Danville, 165 rushing yards and 3 scores. 33.5 points for Maury Brown.
Nice.
25.8 for Malachi Simmons, who had 3 rushing touchdowns for Garrard County.
Nice.
But then it all drops to single digits after that. 8.9 for Solomon Stonebreaker. Matt, even without the stats from Thaddeus Mays, we don't have Thaddeus Mays in yet, scores 88.8. So even without Thaddeus, Team Norton Center, now Team Center Communications wins, and he moves to a perfect 3-0 on the season. Team Derek took on Team Me. Let's start off with Team Derek, whose stats are not complete. Actually, we'll start off with me because my stats are complete. I didn't draft any Mercer County players, so we'll start off with a guy whose stats are complete. But I drafted Quisenberry, number 1 overall, and he had 23.3 points, which is pretty good. He was not my top scorer, though. Sire Horton was my top scorer from Lincoln County. He only threw for 81 yards, but he ran for 115 and 3 touchdowns. 34.5 points from Sawyer Horton. 16 from Micah Phillips. I got 7 from Zach Daly, but circle this matchup right here. My defense was Casey County. They got me 6 points. Not a whole lot, but remember that when I go over Derek's.
That was the difference.
You add it all up, 102.9 for me. Team Derek had the week's leading scorer, actually, Ethan Willoughby, who has become the consensus number 1 overall pick up to this point, I guess.
Congratulations to me.
37.9 points for Ethan Willoughby, 152 passing yards, a touchdown, 129 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 2-point conversion. 37.9. 14 from Seth Horton, 12.2 from Elon Lane, 7.3 from Braden Boffman. I talked about the defense. Before we get to that, remember Derek drafted Cole Sims last week. We knew there was a chance Cole wouldn't play. What did Derek say? He said it's better than any other wide receiver I think I could draft. He took Cole Sims knowing there's a chance he wouldn't play. He didn't play. So Cole Sims got him 0, but he took Danville's defense, who got -3. So when you look at the defense, I outscored Derek by 9 points. Just in the defense. He does have one player who we don't have points in for. That's Ashton Drakeford. But right now, Derek's got 71.4 points. He would need from Ashton about a 30-point game to be able to beat me. It's not impossible, but I feel like if Ashton Drakeford had a 30-point game last week, we would have known about it. So I'm going ahead and as of now, counting me with the win, I'll go back and look at the Mercer stats. If that stands, I move to 1-1, and Derek
is distraught over here.
He's turned his back to me and has his hands over his eyes.
Are those tears?
He is 0-3.
Hey, I got a request.
Yes, go ahead.
Do any of y'all know anything about soccer?
About soccer?
Probably does. Yes.
Team Center Communications does.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, in soccer, they have a process where the worst team is relegated.
Yeah, relegation,
Derek has been the worst team for quite a while now. I think if it continues this year, there's plenty of people who would enjoy this, that maybe he goes to a year of relegation.
Maybe so. I've had people reach out to me on social media and ask me when I can be a part of the fantasy draft, is what they're at. When are you going to let me be a part of it? So
I think the lowest team needs to be relegated, and then that person can come back the next season
and take the place of the next lowest person. Yeah. We can think about that. Derek, how do you feel about that? Derek would have been relegated like 3 years in a row, though, is the thing. Remember, a couple years ago, Derek started off like 0-5, and he's 0-3 right now. I wish I kept the stats from every year, because I'd like to see Derek's career record seriously over the last 3 or 4 years. It would just be
funniest thing
porous.
is that I just have my mind here. Derek has papers and calculators, protractors, and
contractors.
He's still bad at this.
So Derek is 0-3. Let's go over Mr. Packett's bye week really quickly. Mr. Packett's actually the one that's hurt the most by having no Mercer County stats, because he had 3 Mercer players. We have no idea how they did. But right now, not including the 3 players, Mr. Packett only had 11.5 points on bye. I think this year, out of any year, it's not good, but I think this year, out of any year, this year there's the biggest drop-off between players that we draft in the regular draft and players on bye. There's a huge drop-off, because my first week, I got 28.3 points. Rick only had like 20 last week, and Mr. Packett's kind of trending that way as well. When you look at the total points, Team Norton Center is 3-0, number 1 in the standings. He hasn't a bye yet, so he also leads the total points at 289.2. It's Team Derek who's behind him, second in total points, but Derek has also not had a bye yet, which is not good for him, because once he gets hit with a bye, he's 62.4 points behind Matt. I'm only 75 points behind Matt, so once Derek gets hit with a bye, he's going to fall way down in the total points. Team Radio Rick at 213.9, right behind me, so me and Rick are pretty much neck and neck, and Mr. Packett only 12 points behind us. So, again, to our listeners, once Derek gets hit with a bye, I don't think he stands a chance to have any sort of success in the total points mark.
Could Derek roll over some points from last year
he could roll
to
over
give him
all
this
of his
year?
Points in all the fantasy drafts, and he still wouldn't win total points. He's throwing his headphones down.
Yeah, the headset's done. He's done.
All right, let's move on to this week. This week's matchups work. I'm taking on Team Radio Rick. Team Center Communications is on bye. Team Derek taking on Mr. Packett, 2 that have become very close over the last couple of months. The Danville Family Dentistry High School Fantasy Football Draft is brought to you by, guess who gets to do it this week? The leading scorer.
Joe does.
Me. I do.
No, Derek, no, don't go to it.
Derek doesn't even get to look at the microphone at this point. You got to earn this, Derek. This is something you got to earn, and I earned it last week. It's brought to you by Danville Family Dentistry.
And maybe one day you'll get a toothbrush if you ever leading scorer.
Danville Family Dentistry, we're all about you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Neal at Danville Family Dentistry. We can all agree life is busy and our days are full. Don't let getting a dental appointment be part of the stress. Call us at 236-2488 and let us help keep your smile beautiful and healthy. We are open 5 days a week to accommodate your schedule. At Danville Family Dentistry, we are all about you. We are located at 132 North 2nd Street. Again, that's Danville Family Dentistry, 236-2488.
All right, let's do this thing. I'm pick 1, number 1 overall. You know what? Montaven Quisenberry was there for me last week. I know Ethan Willoughby has been 1-1 overall for the past couple weeks, but I'm going Montaven.
1-1.
Give me Quisenberry. Goes to Rick. Who gets a pick?
All right. Then if you're not going to take him, I will. I'll take Willoughby. He falls into my lap.
Ethan Willoughby is off the board. It goes to Mr. Packett, who gets 1 pick.
Tanner Wright.
Tanner Wright, the Southwestern running back. who's had a big year for Southwestern. I guess I should have mentioned, because Danville and Garrett are on bye, we have added 2 additional teams. Southwestern, who plays Lincoln County, and Christian Academy of Louisville, who plays Mercer County. I feel like those are the 2 best teams out of the opposing teams. Yeah, it's a district matchup. So we've added those 2 teams. So Tanner Wright from Southwestern, eligible to draft. Mr. Packett, the first one to draft a non-area team player. Tanner Wright's off the board. Team, Harrodsburg, Mercer County Tourist Commission. Back-to-back.
Avery Bodner and Gavin Copenhaver.
Avery Bodner's the Boyle County running back. Gavin Copenhaver is the Christian Academy of Louisville running back. Think it's Haver or Haver? Think he halves the Copen, or you think he haves the Copen?
Yes. He haved it.
Mr. P, you're up.
Cole Hodge.
Cole Hodge, who is the Christian Academy of Louisville quarterback, is off the board. Mr. Packett's got 2 really good players. I was hoping Hodge would fall to me. That's why I did not take a quarterback in my first pick. I was hoping you all would look over them.
Can I tell y'all something, though?
Yes, go ahead.
I got some stats this week, boys.
Oh, he's ready. He's got some stats. He's ready. It goes to Rick with a pick.
Let me have Micah Phillips.
Micah Phillips, the Lincoln County running back, will go in Rick's spot for RB1. I get back-to-back. Goodness. I get back-to-back. Sage Dawson's going to be my quarterback for tonight. What do you think about that? Solid pick. Sage Dawson. And Evan Stevens is going to be my running back. So I've got Sage, I've got Evan Stevens, and I have Montaven Quisenberry. You call that the Boyle County stack, though, Dawson and Quisenberry?
All right, I'll take the Boyle County defense.
Good.
Yes.
The Boyle County defense is defending. They're off the board. All right, Mr. Packett, 1 pick.
Justin Ruffin.
Justin Ruffin is the Cal wide receiver. Okay, Mr. Packett. Going deep down that Cal roster.
These area players.
Yes, he's going. Let's see if he can go all non-area players and still win your matchup over Team Norton or Team Derek. If you did that, well, that would be the ultimate slap in the face. If you went all non-area players and beat the director of the Harrodsburg Mercer County Tourist Commission in fantasy football using area players. Go ahead, back to back.
Mason Hibbard.
It's a good pick. He's caught 6 passes the entire season.
He's about ready to explode.
Mason Hibbard's off the board.
Solomon Stonebreaker.
And Solomon Stonebreaker is off the board. Mason Hibbard, Solomon Stonebreaker is off the board. Mr. Packett, go ahead.
Cal defense.
The Christian Academy of Louisville defense is off the board.
Y'all challenging me. I might do this, boys. I might just take this 2 teams.
Radio Rick, go ahead.
All right, he was good for me last week. I'll take the Gunner. Gunner Floyd.
He had a big game for you last week. Good pick, Gunner Floyd. We'll go in your wide receiver spot. I've got back-to-back. I think the defenses, they're flying off the shelves right now, so give me the Southwestern defense against Lincoln County. The Warriors are unbeaten. Do they stay that way this weekend? Really, it doesn't matter to me if they win or lose. I guess I'd rather Lincoln win, but if Lincoln wins 2-0, I'll take that. Give me a 2-0 Lincoln win.
Nice.
Defense would take that. I'll get back-to-back, though, Southwestern's defense, and give me Christian Walden, who is the backup Southwestern running back, but they run a lot, and Christian Walden will run a little bit as well. So give me Christian Walden in my RB2 spot. Mr. Packett, what do you think about that?
That's good.
Okay, good. Radio Rick, you get a pick. Pick, Rick.
All right, I'll go with Cole Andrews.
Cole Andrews. Rick takes the first defense off the board and the first kicker off the board. Cole Andrews will be Rick's kicker. Mr. Packett, he's breathing. You can hear him breathing. You know there's a pick. He's salivating right now. Who do you want, Mr. Packett?
Jackson Barrickman.
Jackson Barrickman, who is a kicker for Christian Academy of Louisville. So far, he's sticking with the trend. He's going all.
He's made 32 extra points on the season.
That's not bad.
No, and he's had 2 field goals. So
Jackson Barrickman is off the board, and Team Derek.
Denham Griffith.
Denham Griffith will go in your flex. No, I'm sorry. Yes, he will go in your flex.
And Caleb Moore.
Caleb Moore is off the board. Mr. Packett, 1 pick.
Darwin Cotton.
Darwin Cotton, or Cotton Darwin, or Connor Darwin. I've got him listed as Connor Darwin. I think that's who you want. Is it Darwin Cotton? Is that what it is?
Yes, his name. He's number 35, Darwin Cotton. I've printed it off the KHSA website.
Okay, Darwin Cotton.
Not Connor Darwin.
Yeah, he's had a good season too. You know, he's He's had 14 receptions on the year for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
All right, Mr. Packett's got Darwin Connor or Darwin Cotton or Darwin Barney. I don't know what his name is.
Darwin Cotton, Joe.
Okay, I wrote down Connor Darwin.
60 yards a game.
We're going to go with Connor Darwin. I'll fix it when we put the scores up. Radio Rick, one pick.
What do I need, Joe?
You need a running back, a wide receiver, and a flex.
Okay. Connor Hodge Connor, okay. Jimmy Connor.
Jimmy Connor Hodge.
Yeah.
Goes in Rick's wide receiver spot. It goes to me. I get back-to-back. I need a wide receiver flex and a kicker. Wide receiver, I don't know if Cole Sims is going to be back or not.
No, he's had his arm in a sling. He won't be back tonight.
Well, how about Will Alexander then?
Okay.
He stepped up big last week.
He caught a touchdown pass.
For Cole Sims in his spot. And for my flex, how about you give me a little Seth Horton action from Lincoln County? Seth Horton has been picked by me. That's a winning pick. Radio Rick, you need to make a winning pick right here because you're playing me. And you want to beat me.
Yes. That'd be acceptable. Let's go with Brock Driver, I guess.
Brock Driver. Rick has asked us to add him to the list, and I did that this week after Brock's game last week against Bowling Green, where he ran for a touchdown, I believe, right?
Yes.
Brock Driver goes in RB2 spot for Radio Rick. Now goes to Mr. P, who needs a running back or a flex.
Thank you, Joe. Jeffrey Vazana for me, please.
I'm sorry, I don't have his name on the list, so you're going to have to enlighten me on who Jeffrey Vazana is. Yeah, he's a running back for Christian Academy Louisville, wears number 3. He's had 15 carries on the season, but 2 touchdowns. Jeffrey, I don't know how to say it, spell his last name. Is it with a V?
B-A-Z-Z-A-N-A, boys. Vazana.
Jeffrey.
B-A-Z-Z-A-N-A. Vazana.
Jeffrey Vazana. Derek, you are in for it this week. And I hope Vazana runs all over the place. I don't want him to win, but I hope just to smite you, Derek, he does.
You want to get smoked?
You want to get
Cavassier smoke?
You want to get smoked, Derek, because you're going to back-to-back. You need a defense and a quarterback.
Casey County defense and Colin
Burton at quarterback, Southwestern quarterback, and the Casey County defense. It goes to Mr. Packard, who needs a flex. He has picked all Southwestern and Cal players, but he needs one more player from those 2 schools to round out his all non-area school fantasy team in that flex. Who do you have?
Let's see, Joe. You know what? I'll take Gunnar McKinley, receiver, Christian Academy of Louisville.
Gunnar McKinley, not even on our list. But Mr. Packett is adding him himself. Gunnar McKinley. What's his stats look like this year, Mr. Packett?
Well, he's had a pretty good year. He's played 5 games. He's had 2 catches, but both of those have gone for 74 yards total. He has a touchdown.
Gunnar McKinley off the board. I like the analysis. I like the breakdown. Radio Rick, you need a flex.
Let's go with Caden Cunningham.
Caden Cunningham. Caden, come again?
Cunningham, Rick.
I need a kicker. Okay, and I'm going to take a kicker. His name's going to be Colby Towns.
Not Colby Cheese.
There it is. Every week for the past 2 years, Colby Cheese. Anytime somebody picks Colby Towns. That's how the draft ends. Let's look over the rosters before Matt picks. I've got Radio Rick. I've got Sage Dawson, Evan Stevens, and Christian Walden, Montaven Quisenberry, and Will Alexander, so I have the double Rebel stack. Sounds like a burger you get at the Huddle House. Give me the double Rebel stack, please, extra cheese, because I got Colby.
Mustard.
Seth Horton, yes, with extra mustard, please. Matt's favorite condiment. Seth Horton's my flex.
Mustard's the worst.
Colby Towns is my kicker. Southwestern's my defense. Taking on Rick, who has Willoughby at quarterback. Micah Phillips and Brock Driver at running backs. Gunnar Floyd, Connor Hodge at wide receivers. Caden Cunningham, his flex. Cole Andrews, his kicker. The Boyle County defense is his defense. How's that look, Matt? You're on bye. What do you think?
I lean Joe.
Thank you. Mr. Packett's got Cole Hodge at quarterback, Tanner Wright and Jeffrey Vazana at running backs, Justin Ruffin, Connor Darwin, or Darwin, Charles Darwin, Cotton Barney.
Earl Darwin.
Carwin.
Carwin.
Darwin, Cotton Barney.
Cotton Nash, Darwin, I don't know. Gunnar McKinley's his flex. Jackson Barrickman is his kicker, and the Christian Academy of Louisville defense is his defense. All non-area players taking on Derek, who has Colin Burton at quarterback, Avery Bodner, and Gavin Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, yeah.
That's a tobacco company. That's not right. Copenhavers is running back. Mason Hibbert, Solomon Stonebreaker, his wide receivers. Denham Griffith, his flex. Caleb Moore, the kicker. Casey County defense. Team Center College Communications. Bye week, who do you want?
It's actually strategic marketing and communication. I'm just kidding. That's it.
Matt, for those wondering, Matt runs the official Center College Twitter page.
Yeah, Twitter.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that
Facebook.
because
right now I'm a target.
Now people know who you are. But Matt sent me a message earlier today that said, "I can't believe you don't follow Center College on Twitter. I'm unfollowing you."
You know what? I'm going to follow Center right now because
That's
you
what I
are
like to hear.
ultimate professional at the Advocate. I'll be honest with you, I never once went to the Norton Center, but I'm sure you did a great job with that.
Darn
and you'll do a wonderful job with this.
Thanks, Mr. P.
Go ahead, Team CC.
All right, Sawyer Horton at quarterback. Give me Dalton Stone and Elon Lane at running back. Wide receivers, Keenan Stewart, Nate Good, and I'm working with this person's mother now, so I'm going to go with Colin Wise from Boyle County. Going to see some playing time tonight. And then kicker, Jace Kokenauer, defense, Lincoln County.
Sawyer Horton at quarterback, Dalton Stone and Elon Lane at running back, Keenan Stewart and Nate Goo, the wide receivers, Colin Wise, the flex, Jace Coco is the kicker, and Lincoln County is the defense. There you go, folks. Good luck to everybody except Radio Rick, who stepped out to take a phone call, so I'm just going to talk all kinds of smack about him.
Well, we need someone to say something, and I'm going to let Derek say it since Rick ain't here.
Go ahead, Derek. Fill in for Rick.
Good luck, everybody.
Come on, say it again, Derek. Try it again.
Yeah, you got to do it with some nasal in your voice.
Good luck, everybody.
Is that the best you can do?
That's really all you got? Come on.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Terrible voice for radio.
You try it, Matt. See if you can do better.
Good luck, everybody.
That was too gravelly. I don't think Rick's voice.
Yeah, go ahead,
You
Packett.
try it, Mr. Packett.
Good luck, everybody.
There you go. I'll try
Nailed
it, too. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, that was it. There it was.
I've been around Rick too long. I know all of his mannerisms. All right, we'll see y'all next Friday.
All right.
More Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show is coming up next on the Hometown Radio Network.
Isaiah House provides holistic substance abuse treatment to help recovering addicts achieve sobriety for a lifetime.
You're looking for treatment, if you're looking for help out there and you're a woman, you can't do it by yourself. They will welcome you in with open arms and open hands right where you're at.
Kentucky Medicaid accepted for treatment. Call Isaiah House Treatment Center today, 859-375-9200. Isaiah House Treatment Center, real hope for addiction.
Great. See, we're practically sitting on the field. If you could sit here.
Your food and drinks will be right over.
Oh, yes! For the same price as way up here. Great seats. Right up here with a blimp. Why wouldn't you? It's the same with auto insurance. With discounts up to 40%, it's possible to get the personal service of a State agent for the same or less than those other guys.
See your State Farm agent in Harrisburg, David Hopewell, and Randy Couch. In Danville, see Bob Miller.
This is Caraway and Adeline at Mattresses and More, next door to Ace Hardware on Houstonville Road in Danville. If you are looking for new furniture or bedding, stop by and check us out. New merchandise arriving weekly, and we sell off the floor. Come see our Nana for the best deal around. You'll be glad you did.
Mattresses and More than a mattress store, located in Danville. Phone 859-236-1646 and like them on Facebook at Mattresses and More.
Good evening, welcome to week number 4 of Packett's Picks, which is the segment where Packett picks. Good evening, Mr. Packett. How are you?
Doing good. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing great, Mr. Packett. Let's go back to last week. You had 6 games to pick from. It was the first time the entire season that we didn't have an area team playing another area team. So we had finally a full slate of games, 6 of them to pick from. We'll start off with the one I was at, Mr. Packett. Atherton was at Danville. You picked the Admirals. Can you tell me who won that game, please?
Atherton.
Atherton did win. If the game was only 2.5 quarters long, Danville would have won. Unfortunately for Danville, a game lasts 4 quarters.
That's a shame, wasn't it?
It's a real shame. 34 unanswered score by Atherton. Mr. Packett, you're 0-1 last week. Boyle County was at Bowling Green. You picked a mild upset. You picked the Purples to beat the Rebels. Can you tell me who won that game, please?
The Rebels won. They didn't get the upset.
They did not. No, they did not get upset. People in Bowling Green were upset they didn't win, but Boyle County won. Mr. Packett, 0-2 last week now. You've had better showings.
Okay, I'll rebound.
Let's see how you did the rest of the games, though. Anderson County at Garrard County. You picked the Golden Lions to pick up their first win under head coach Spencer Crutchfield last week. You picked them. Can you tell me who won that game, please?
The Golden Lions.
The Golden Lions did win. Cameron Peak and Malachi Simmons were back, and that duo ran for a lot of yards against the Bearcats. Patriots. Mr. Packett, you're 1-2 last week. Mercer County was at Southwestern, Mr. Packett. Mercer County, the Titans at Southwestern. You picked the Warriors to win. Can you tell me who won that game, please?
Southwestern Warriors.
Southwestern did win, so you're 2-2. So you're back at 500 last week. Casey County was at Adair County. You picked our friends from Casey. Can you tell me who won that game, please?
Casey.
Yes, Mrs. Packett with confetti bombs all over the living room because the Casey County Rebels win over Adair County. You're 3-2. And Mr. Packett, East Jessamine was at Lincoln County. You picked the Golden Lions to pick up their first win under Crutchfield. You also picked the Patriots to pick up their first win underneath Josh Jaggers. You picked Lincoln. Can you tell me who won that game, please?
Lincoln County.
Lincoln County did. So you started off 0-2, Mr. Packett, but you end up 4-2, which puts your record at 10-6 through your first 16 games picked. 10-6. How do you feel about that record?
Hey, it could be better, but we're going to make some progress right here.
Going to make some progress right here, Mr. Packett. You have got today 4 games to pick from. Danville and Garrard County are both off. So the Admirals, the Golden Lions, no game, but you got 4 games to pick from. We'll see how you do. Starting off, Mr. Packett, with the game at Boyle County. Big 6A North Hardin comes into Rebel Stadium. Boyle County played North Hardin last year. They beat North Hardin last year. Pick it, Packett. Who do you got?
I think they'll do it again. I learned my lesson not to pick against them. I'm sorry. I'll take Boyle County.
Boyle County over North Hardin. What's the score?
35-13.
35-13. The Rebels over top of the Trojans. I like that. I like that a lot. That'll put you hopefully at 1-0 for next week. Cal is at Mercer County. This is a tough game for the Titans. They are the first area team, Mr. Packett, to open up district play as they take on the Christian Academy of Louisville Centurions, who are coached by who, Mr. Packett?
Stephon LaFleur.
No, that's not correct. Another Louisville quarterback. Can you name another one? That's
Lamar Jackson.
That's not. No, it's not Lamar Jackson. That would be a good gig, though. He'd be coaching and playing on Sundays for the Ravens. Guess another one.
Dave Ragone.
Dave Ragone's not correct. Neither is Chris Redmond. However, Mr. Packett, Hunter Cantwell is correct.
Oh.
Do you remember Hunter Cantwell?
I do, but I would never have got that.
Never would have guessed that. Well, he's the head coach of Christian Academy of Louisville. He's bringing his team down to take on the Titans tonight. What do the Titans have for Cal? Pick it, Packett. Who do you got?
I've got Cal 56, Mercer County 6.
Yeah, this is the 3rd highest scoring offense in the entire state. And Cal, I talked about it earlier this week, so you have them flexing their muscles tonight.
Yes, 56-6.
Wow. They're angry at you. In Stringtown.
That's okay.
You know what they're doing in Stringtown?
They're swinging axes.
They're swinging axes. They're also setting your picture on fire in Stringtown.
Oh, gosh.
They've got pictures of you, and they're throwing it in the bonfire there at Stringtown. They're so angry.
You've been to Stringtown?
Yeah, I've seen their wrath before there. I don't like it. I try to avoid it, Mr. Packett. You, however, are stepping knee-deep into it.
That's okay. Bring it, Stringtown.
Taylor County is at Casey County. Mr. Packett, Taylor County at Casey County. Tough game for the Rebels tonight. Pick it, Packett. Who do you got?
Give me the Casey County by 14.
So you're a believer in the Rebels. 14 in order to give them 5 in a row for Casey County. After losing the season opener to Rockcastle County, you've got them beating Taylor County by 14.
I think they're going to do it.
And what is Ethan Willoughby doing?
He's wallowing in the victory.
The wallowing Willoughby, because the Rebels would be a winner of 5 in a row, and you've got them 14 over Taylor County. Last game, Mr. Packett, Lincoln County, Josh Jaggers takes his team down to Southwestern. This is a good-looking Southwestern bunch. Pick it, Packett. Who do you got?
I've got Southwestern 42, Lincoln County 14.
Oh, no, 42-14? I'm trying to think of a word that begins with an O, because that's what they're doing in Ottenheim.
They're hotter than a matchstick in Hallsgap.
They're hotter than a matchstick in Hallsgap. Because Southwestern has beaten Lincoln County by a 42-14 score.
Yes, indeed.
You've got Boyle County over North Hardin. You've got Cal over Mercer County. You got Taylor County losing to Casey County. You got Lincoln County losing to Southwestern. And I guess that's all the games. You have 4 games to pick from with Garrett and Danville on a bye. Mr. Packett, that's all I've got. More Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show is coming up next on the Hometown Radio Network. On the Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show, here live from the Hometown Radio Network. You've heard it live on WHIR and on WHBN, gearing you up for all the kickoffs tonight. Again, 4 games that we have in action. Boyle County hosting North Hardin, Mercer County hosting Cal, Lincoln County is at Southwestern, Taylor County is at Casey County. Peace, love, and Zaxby's. I'll see you next Friday live from Bullitt East as the Admirals take on the Bullitt East Chargers. We'll be there live with the Zaxby Show starting at 6 o'clock next Friday, right here on the Hometown Radio Network and the Zaxby's High School Football Preview Show, Central Kentucky's only pregame show.
This is the talk of the town.